Huh?
So just getting my coffee.
I know. I figured I'd ride to work with you.
Ah. I'm probably going to stop at the dollar store down there by work too to get me some tea real quick before I go to work.
Okay.
Alrighty.
In case you hadn't met him, YouTube, this is my son, IcyLink. He may have his own channel sometime down in the future. This is his Suzuki Katana 750. And I have to put my sunglasses on. But he got him a GoPro recently, and he's thinking about ordering him a setup to do some videos. Told me he's going to follow me down to work this morning, or this afternoon I should say. Of course, while I was in Speedway there, somebody asked me about my camera. I didn't bother to go into detail, just that I record my rides. If they didn't know what a GoPro was, I didn't figure they'd be someone that was subscribed. Well, Suzuki Katana is a pretty fast bike. Of course, it's the 750, not the 600, but it's more of a sport cruiser than a sport bike direct, but damn thing will get up and go. It's had a little work done on it too, jetted and stuff, I think. I forget what all they said was done with it, done to it. In my intro vid, I was telling you a little bit about, I know the risks and the possibilities about wrecking and all that good stuff, and I didn't wear gear, and well, IcyLink and I had a wreck. It's been about a year and a half ago. And that's the bike he was riding when we wrecked. And of course, we've repaired most of the damage. I still have the other bike that I was riding when we wrecked. Lucky enough for his bike, the fairings and stuff was actually off the bike when we wrecked. He was getting some touch-up paint work done on the fairings from where he bought it from another guy, and it had some scratches and stuff on it. And his rear view mirrors were also off at the time. But that was my first wreck in probably around 20 years. We were riding together, and that was our actual problem, was that we had gotten used to riding together. We thought we knew what each other was doing. Still don't have a set of the Sena Bluetooth headsets. We're probably going to get a set of those down the road, but that would have saved us everything. But unfortunately, we thought we knew what the other person was doing. So anyway, we're going out to a country road across the mountaintop on one of our rides, and occasionally, where he's on a sport bike, he would like to take the lead and go a little bit faster through the twisties and curves and enjoy himself a little bit more than just following me around behind going, 40 miles an hour on my cruiser, especially through curves and stuff like that. So he had taken the lead, and I waved him around. Well, we got to the top of the mountain and going down the downside, and he was going real slow. So I thought, well, as per usual, he's slowing down to let me take the lead again, because I was usually the one picking the road and leading us where we were going. And so anyway, he was going real slow, and I picked up my speed, quite a bit, just to kind of try to keep him in sight. And he's still a young rider, and was worried about him. So I was coming up behind him a lot faster than he thought I would be, but you know, there he was right in front of me, so he was going slow. So I thought, you know, like I said, that he was letting me take the lead. So I got in the oncoming traffic lane to pass him, and just as I went to pass him, Nubish decides that he wants to he's decided he wants to turn around and go back up the mountain to a scenic overlook. So he turns right in front of me, and he had looked, you know, over his shoulder. Like I said, his rearview mirrors were off, which was another big flaw. Shouldn't have went riding without the mirrors on there, but he'd looked over his shoulder, but I hadn't come around the curve yet. But where I was going a little bit faster and come up on him, he didn't see me when he looked behind him. So anyway, he turns, you know, right in front of me, and I collide. We T-bone each other. I T-bone him. It was more of a glancing blow instead of a direct T-bone. If it had been a direct T-bone, we would have been really in trouble. But when I realized he was turning, I was already right on top of him. It wasn't any time to slow down. I hit my brakes, but, you know, there was nothing I could do. He was right in front of me. So I glanced a glancing blow off of him. And we were both very, very lucky. We walked away without any injuries. Had some minor scrapes, but that was about it. And I tore my right foot peg completely off the bike, and tore his left foot peg completely off the bike. And so we're really lucky we didn't have some major damage done to one of our feet, ankles, or lower legs. I went rolling across the pavement and come to a stop. He got, you know, knocked over and thrown off his bike and went rolling. And I think he actually ended up with more scrapes than I did, and he'd almost, you know, he was pretty much at a complete stop when I hit him. Tore his jacket. He was wearing protective gear. And still ended up with a couple scrapes. I was wearing no protective gear and didn't really have any scrapes of any kind. My right foot, the one that was sitting on the peg that got tore off, was throbbing pretty good, but I have an old injury to that particular ankle. So I got impacted in some form or fashion, and had irritated that old injury. But I was able to get up and walk away after a minute of letting it throb, and so we were both, you know, very lucky. He was in full protective gear, helmet and gloves and jacket, like I said. And me, I didn't even have a helmet on. That was the first wreck I'd been in 20 years, so, you know, it can happen at any time. And granted, we were both going slow. I mean, even me going around him, I was only going about 20 miles an hour, or maybe 30. Probably more like 30. But the insurance company totaled both of our bikes after the wreck. Most of it was just due to stupid stuff. They'd marked several places on, like the muffler and bars that I couldn't even see anything wrong with. But I bought both the bikes back from the insurance company and did the repairs myself, because, you know, most of the fee in getting a repair like that is the labor, a lot of the time, or paint job. But I replaced all the broken pieces on my bike, and I still have it. There's a couple little spots you can still see, and there's a small dent in the gas tank that I didn't replace. I didn't feel like that was worth the $1,000 to buy a new gas tank. It's just a very, very minor dent. But yeah, we were both very lucky. Neither one of us got injured. I was able to get up and walk away from it. You know, and I know this, and I still get up and go riding without my protective gear. Welcome to downtown Lexington, by the way. As you can see, he's not wearing any protective leggings or boots today. And by the way, I called him noobish a while ago. If you didn't catch that, it's kind of a affectionate term that we share with each other. We call each other noob. It's a gaming expression. son and I have a pretty good relationship, but we rarely ever call each other son and dad. It's dork or noob or, you know, something stupid. That's our terms of affection. People look at us like we're crazy sometimes, but that's okay. We understand each other for the most part. Except for when I want to kill him. I was going to cut this, you know, video short when I got to Lexington, but then IcyLink decided to join me, so figured we'd just keep on rolling some tape. And got a big construction project downtown here they've been working on for a long time. I don't know if they're ever going to get it finished. It's pretty fun bike to ride. I rode it several times. Like I said, it's faster than hell. Much faster than I need. I think it's a little bit more comfortable than a lot of the sport bikes. He's wanting to get a true sport bike, a 1000cc something or other. I think maybe if he ever decides to sell the Katana, I may just try to get it off of him just to have a sport bike to tour around on a little bit. I sure would miss my cup holder though. Might have to do something about that. Somebody going to parallel park here. See if I can get around them. Nope, changed their mind. Yeah, he's wanting to get a 1000cc bike. I think it's lined out a little bit. I introduced him to riding them a few years ago and bought his first bike. I started on a Ninja 250. It was a really good little bike. Passed it on to a stepsister. Unfortunately, it blew up, so we don't still have it. But as a parent, you always worry about your son. You're scared they're going to wreck, and you know, you're going to blame yourself because you're the one that introduced them to riding. Try to encourage him to be safe and ride slow, but you know, that doesn't always stick. I mean, I was young once too, and I like to hit the throttle a little bit, but on a 250, you know, it doesn't matter how hard you hit the throttle, you ain't going that fast. And you know, and that was fine when he had a 250, but this 750, it'll, you know, like I said, it'll fly. I don't know the top speed on it, but most of it's not even top speed. It has nothing to do with top speed. It's just, you know, you're going too fast, or, you know, around a curve, and you lose traction. It doesn't matter how experienced of a rider you are, you can have an accident at any time. Hit gravel, hit something in the road, somebody pulls out in front of you, and there's just so many things that can happen. It's kind of unreal, but you know, one of your biggest skills is just reading traffic and learning what to expect from the guy in front of you, behind you, beside you, and the guy you can't even see yet. Like I said, at my age, most of my riding is, you know, 40 and 50 miles an hour on open roads, so generally have plenty of time to react to any situation. Really haven't had any close calls with other cars. The only other close call I've had in all those years is I've recently started doing a lot more group riding. And unfortunately found out that in group riding I developed a little bit of a tunnel vision. Instead of watching the road ahead, I was watching the rider in front of me, and we were riding in a tight group, so that it didn't give me much time to maneuver. So we come upon a curve, and I had my wife on the back, and I mean, it's like the curve jumped out of nowhere. I didn't even see it coming, and I should have. It's just my own, I won't say inattention. I was paying attention, but I just wasn't watching the road. No, like I said, I was watching the rider in front of me. And I mean, when we hit the curve, I was right on the edge of the road. I was right on the line, kind of like I am now, just trying to kind of give you an idea. And doing this into a curve. And I had two choices, and at the time I didn't consider either of them good choices. One was to go ahead and drop off the curve and try to maintain control. But considering I had a 4-foot drop, there was the edge of the road, 1 foot of dirt, and then a 4-foot drop off. So dropping off wasn't really an option. And I only had a split second to decide all this. Had it been a different drop-off situation, I might have, attempted that. Where the hell am I going? I don't need to go Speedway. But like I said, I only had a split second to decide, so I decided to throw myself into the lane on a cruiser and try to ride out the curve. And I was just scared to death that ass end was going to drop off the pavement, and if it did, I would have been in bad shape. It would have been a much worse wreck. Much worse wreck. Letting that ass end drop off. But luckily enough, I managed to ride out the curve, so it all worked out for the best.